Day 6 is in the books. And now we look forward to tomorrow, Day 7, A-Block action. But what sort of surprises, outcomes, and great action came out of the B-Block today? Let me talk to you. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good night. Hello, everybody. Konnichiwa to you all. My name is Noah Foster, and I'm just a simple man. And welcome once again to another daily recap / preview as we take another G1Climax30 simple take. In this one, I'll be reviewing what happened during Night 6 B Block action from Corrigan Hall, and we will be previewing, of course, tomorrow morning's action, emanating also from, I believe, Corrigan Hall for A Block Day 7. With that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it. Day 6 emanated, of course, from Corrigan this morning, 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and started off with our unofficial Young Lions Cup G1 tour as Gabriel Kidd, Uyo Yamari, and Joe Suji continued to duke it out during the tour to see who could get the most singles wins. Today's bout featured Uyo Yamari versus Gabriel Kidd. Gabriel Kidd, who's been on a 2-match winning streak. Uyo Yamari had a bunch of mixed fortunes and was the first to fall to Gabriel Kidd's new move, that double arm suplex. But again, it looks like Uyo Yamari, he now knows what to expect, and he did not allow Gabriel Kidd to pull off that maneuver. In the end of a short, under 10-minute bout, after some stiff exchanges, great dropkick combination, followed by Uyo Yamari, Gabriel Kidd showing a great heart with the lariato. Uyo Yamari, he locked in the full crab as Gabriel Kidd was going to the ropes, pulling back in the ring, step over, and Kidd had no choice but to tap out. Uyo Yamari's on the board. We're dead even, everybody. Everybody now has 2 single wins apiece. It's 2, 2, and 2. Tomorrow we'll have to break the tie, and we'll see what happens. Or it could be a draw, because that's something that's not been considered for these Young Lion matches. They have had draws in the past in singles action. We have yet to get a draw during their little tour so far in the G1 Climax. You wonder when that's to come, what sort of setup it will take, how many times they go against each other to bring them to that draw. We'll have to wait and see. It might be as late as tomorrow, but only time will tell. But great effort by both, and congrats to Uyo Yamari for the win. Which leads us straight into G1 Climax action. It was B Block in action today, as our opening bout featured 2 people who were goose egg. The headhunter, Yoshihashi, versus, excuse me, a little tired, folks, Cold Skull Sanada. I cannot believe Sanada still goose egg. This was an interesting bout, and it started out pretty aggressive at first. Both men basically unleashing shoulder tackles, testing each other's fortitude. Following that, though, he responded outside the ring, Sonata did, by sending. It's amazing how often that blue guardrail really comes in play in New Japan Pro Wrestling and how well it holds up. And of course, a couple of Irish whips really worked in Sonata's favor against Yoshihashi, as he used a magic screw on the floor. Following this, Sonata, he basically started going to work, and he basically was trying to put in Skull in. It looked like he was trying to show a little bit more aggression right here, which is what I've been wanting to see, because I feel like Sonata's been like missing something, or needs to channel something deeper to really bring himself forward in this G1 climax. Eventually, though, Yoshihashi, who's always intense and is a bit off-sided, if you get what I mean, Yoshihashi, he does counter back with a Bucker Brainbuster, and that slows down the match a little bit. And then following that, there was a power bomb attempt, but a drop kick by Sonata stopped that down in its tracks, followed by the Skull End with a plunge to the floor. That's when Sonata goes over the top rope and splashes his opponent, in case you don't know that. Back inside the ring, Yoshihashi, he blocked Skull End again. Sonata went for Skull End, I think, like 2 or 3 times, connected with a wicked lariat and running power bomb follow-up for a 2 count, not quite over. A swanton attempt, though, by Sonata, however, he freaking, actually, no, the swanton by Yoshihashi. I forgot both these men went for a swanton, though. Sonata flipped himself into a Skull End, you know, the typical setup out of the turnbuckle in the Skull End, literally locked him in. It looks like he's going to tap. I was waiting for him to tap. Sonata needs to get this first win. I could imagine Sonata going 0-3. But unfortunately, they pushed out of it, and basically, he did reply the hoe again, but he did make it to the ropes. And then following this, Sonata, he did pull him back a little bit, locked him back in, but then again, going, of course, to pay respect to his mentors, he goes for that Mudo Moonsault, but Yoshihashi, just in time, gets the knees up. We're back to a reset. Basically, following this, both the men, they suddenly got up, they traded among each other, subtle exchanges. And then we got a TKO for a 2. But Yoshihashi, he responded, of course, with his Dragon Suplex. And his finisher, when he actually wanted Karma, Sanada did get Skull in again, swinging Yoshihashi around. Literally, I thought this was going to be it. But somehow, the Chaos member, he literally rolled up Sanada for a 2 count, almost won here. But then he immediately followed up with his finisher, Karma, planted Sonata. Damn it. And Yoshihashi's on the board now with 2 points. 1, 2, 3. Sonata is still at 0. Sonata right now with the exact setup so far to Jay White's run last year. And you wonder, with the whole thing about Jay White and Sonata earlier this year in the new beginning, is Sonata maybe taking a turn? Is Sonata going to pull off what Jay White did last year? Because now at this point, Sonata, he basically needs to win every match, I feel like, at this point, just to have a chance to make it to the finals. He's 0-3. Yoshihashi, though, with his first win in this G1, it was a very mutually respectable competitive bout among both men. Kudos to both man effort, but I'm really worried right now for Sonata, who is still my B-block pick to win. He's got to pull out something different. He's got to dig deeper. He maybe doesn't need to go so much for the moonsault or maybe just rely on Skull End, even though how effective it can be. He needs to come out with something. I don't know what, but Sonata needs to pull his act together, man. I can't believe this. But again, good opening match. Moving on from there, action really picked up in a great counter exchange, technical, physical bout as Zack Sabre Jr. of Suzuki-gun, my faction, took on Bullet Clubs and the current holder of the IWGP United States Right to Challenge Certificate, Kenta. Now, clearly, we know both these men. They're both strikers. They're both submission specialists. These two have had one other one-on-one encounter last year in the G1 in AEW, where Kenta did get the better of Zack Sabre Jr. But this is a different Kenta, and I feel a very different Zack Sabre Jr. when I look at both these men's year. And honestly, it was everything I expected it would be. There was many a times where the match was kind of playing itself in the same way. It started off with a mat game with Kenta trying to bring Zack Sabre Jr. down to the mat, only for Kenta to take advantage on the outside of Zack Sabre Jr. nearly locked him in a submission. Not on the arm, though, surprisingly, because despite the fact that Kenta, of course, has that big old target on his left arm / shoulder. That was not really targeted initially in this match. I was kind of surprised. But quick attempted submission, Kenta gets out of the ring immediately. And then literally, trade for trade. Zack Sabre Jr. challenges Kenta to come down to his world, the mat game. And Kenta, he tries to get the better of Zack Sabre Jr. in that. And nearly does, but again, we go back to the outside of the ring. The match really got into one man's favor here, as I look at my notes, after Kenta basically knocks out Zack Sabre Jr. with a stiff shot. Jeez. And then we had some subtle kicking moments among the two men as they were both challenging each other's spines with spinal tap kicks. Ouch. Basically, though, Kenta, of course, shut down Zack Sabre Jr.'s momentum, literally targeting repaired shoulder. So, excuse me, no, botched. That was Zack Sabre Jr. Zack Sabre Jr., he does duck a back fist. That spinning back fist by Kenta is something else. And then hits a Northern Lights suplex into a double wrist lock on Kenta. Not quite enough. Like buying himself some time again, Kenta getting out of the ring like, okay, you almost got me here. I need to be careful. Following this, we get a corner charge, double stump, closer and closer to the victory of each blow. Zack Sabre Jr. refusing to stay down. As again, Zack Sabre Jr., he was more so in this match, fighting from under during the middle portions. As Zack Sabre Jr., though, he does not go down for the count, and then he literally shows out a pinfall after a stiff kick again to the spine. And then literally he tries to go for the go to sleep, Kenta does, but he gets caught with a shote for his trouble. Shout out to Juice Thunder Liger. And basically following this, he locks Kenta in a triangle, and then he basically transitions that, though, however, into game over. But Zack Sabre Jr., again, this is the point where both men were challenging each other's technical prowess. Basically, Zack Sabre Jr., he gets out of the game over and to his submission, Clarky Cack, forcing a rope break that Kenta had to get because, again, both arms of Kenta were trapped within Zack Sabre Jr.'s legs. And I thought really this was it here. But not quite. Following this, both men, they're once again exchanging with each other. We get pinning combos from both men, quick little follow-ups, but then a PK kick is denied, however, by Kenta that Zack Sabre Jr. was trying to strike him with, and this was the turning point as Kenta literally knocked out Zack Sabre Jr. with an overhand palm strike. Got knocked out cold. And then he got followed up hit by Kenta's knee, and then, of course, that knee was used for one purpose, the go to sleep. And Kenta wins. This was a really good competitive, again, technical bout that really tested each man's in-ring awareness, but also really how to escape and counter one another with some cell striking in between. And in the end, it wasn't no dirty tactics. It was a clean, technical bout. Clean win. Kenta won. 1, 2, 3. He put the man to sleep. So that, of course, takes Kenta now up to 4 points, while Zack Sabre Jr. remains at 2. I'm curious what both of these men's runs might lead to, with Zack Sabre Jr. wanting to elevate the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. That's at his forefront. While Kenta, of course, he has the focus, I'm sure, of challenging for the United States title and beating Jon Moxley for that. That's if he can still hold that certificate, because I bet you he's got at least one more challenger coming. And then I also think about Kenta and his run in Bullet Club and how GOD brought him in, and can Kenta potentially challenge Tetsuya Naito again for the double gold? Because we know Kenta with Tetsuya Naito is coming up in the G1. I feel like both men right now are in a pretty good spot. Neither one of them are really in danger. This match could have gone either way, and kudos to both. I enjoyed it. Following this, of course, we get our cleaning and disinfectant break with the music, and then we come back to in-ring action as we have a New Japan Cup 2018 rematch that went nearly 30 minutes. Of course, those have no time limit. G1 Climax matches do. As the ace of New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi, took on the flamboyant Juice Robinson. And this was a very competitive bout. It initially started off with both men trying to get a feel for each other in the early going, as Juice scores the first blow with a big boot, followed by a big senton, and then working the Ace's neck into a full Nelson with some stiff shots to the lower back. Ouch. But of course, Tanahashi, he capitalizes with drop kicks and dragon screws. God, that dragon screw move has got to suck. With the legs now hindered, the Ace then goes for the cloverleaf for the submission. But Juice Robinson, he does find his way out of that, and he hits him with a big spine buster, and then those simple little jabs. But then a DDT brought Robinson 2 count. As he thought he was going to do left-handed God, not quite. And then these two really picked up against each other as Juice Robinson tries to bring the crown to it. But of course, the stomps that similar to Queen, we will rock you. Robinson closing in with a huge, fast, high-velocity cannonball in the corner, and then a huge superplex off the top rope, but not quite enough, followed by jackhammer to the Ace. But it was not enough to keep the Ace down, as Tanahashi just basically persevered in this match, delivering a couple of sling blades, and then a stiff lariato earlier on. I'm surprised he recovered from that. Pulp Friction counter into a sling blade first, then another sling blade. We get the high five flow, but Juice rose through it, and literally, I thought I was going to get the win here, not quite. Then he finally pops off that left hand of God and tries to set him up for his finisher, again, Pulp Friction. But somehow, the Ace slips out of the Pulp Friction attempt and literally traps Juice Robinson's legs for a roll-up win. 1, 2, 3. And the Ace still has Juice Robinson's number, and the Ace is finally on the board with 2 points. Juice Robinson stays at 2. Considering the Ace's run so far in the G1 this year, the fact he was goose egg, which really surprises me, it really was a must-win situation, I believe, for Hiroshi Tanahashi. Because at this point, if you have 0, you're virtually, I think, being just written off from actually winning your block. So again, I have hopes for Sonata, but Sonata, you have a huge uphill battle to go through. Juice Robinson, very strong run so far in the G1. The Ace, don't count him out. He got his first 2 points. Really good competitive match between these two. Did not go nearly as long as the match in their New Japan Cup bout. And again, based on, Ace's legs, I'm kind of not surprised by that. But I wouldn't mind seeing these two go at each other again, 1, 2, 3. So, good job for both. I look forward to both their match next. All right, now we go into... Excuse me for a moment. Freaking idiot! Stupid! How did
the hell you outsmart this guy? What do you do to freaking figure out the Yano algorithm? The bottle, evil Togo, red shoes, exposed steel with God! Freaking Yano! Damn it! Ah!
Sorry about that. I'm back. Okay. Our next match featured Toru Yano versus Evil. This is where I thought that someone was finally going to figure out the Toru Yano formula, but apparently that didn't happen here. Even with Dick Togo in Evil's corner and literally turned this to exposed corners match where all 4 turnbuckle pads were taken off. Initially, Yano and Evil, they both went for a turnbuckle pad. Yano got the turnbuckle pad off faster than Evil and followed up by attacking Evil from behind with the turnbuckle pad. And then literally we go to the outside of the ring, and it looks like they're finally going to get the advantage, but Dick Togo, he then gets taped up to a barricade, and it looks like that Toru Yano is trying to do the same thing to Evil. Evil, however, he prevents that from happening. So, following that, both men, they trade attempts to basically shoot each other in all 4 exposed corners, but Togo, he does find a way off the barricade, comes to Evil's aid, and basically, we finally get some momentum in Evil's favor after he Irish whips Toru Yano into 3 of the 4 exposed corners. Goes for a pinning combination. Not quite enough off the Fisherman suplex. But basically, from here, all things went to hell. As Red Shoes was stuck in the corner after Toru Yano attempts a low blow on Evil. It doesn't work. And basically, they go for another low blow attempt on each other. And Toru Yano, he does hit a low blow on Evil. And then Dick Togo comes into play. He hits a low blow over Toru Yano, gets that little choker device and tries to choke the man out. But then Toru Yano, he low blows freaking Dick Togo. And then Evil tries to follow up. Then Toru Yano low blows Evil and Dick Togo. And then pins Evil. 1, 2, 3. Damn it, son of a bitch! So Toru Yano remains a block leader now with 6 friggin' points, while Evil remains at 2. I cannot freaking believe what is happening this year in the G1. The fact that this man is KOPW 2020 Preliminary Champion right now with no challenger, and the fact this man is unblemished right now in the G1, and the fact that this man literally could be our block winner. Are you kidding me? I can't see that happening. I thought of all things to the people to figure this out. It would be freaking Evil. Who can stop the man at this point? Somebody has to stop this, or we are on the verge of professional wrestling breaking down as we know it. This is ridiculous. I can't believe this. Someone stop Toru Yano. I don't know how, but someone needs to figure out a way to stop Toru Yano. And of course, as my good friend Cindy G, please follow her podcast Into the Stratosphere, part of the Bulletcast as well. I basically sent her my thoughts in the following clip. And I quote and play to you now. And that's all I have to say about that. I pray that Yano, please be stopped. Someone needs to stop this man. I don't know who, I don't know how, but it needs to happen. So from now on, every B-Block match, I'm personally rooting for the opponent against Toru Yano. This madness needs to end. But hey, Evil remains at 2, so I guess some people are happy about that as well. I'm sure Colt Cabana's happy from afar, despite being part of the Dark Order too, because Toru Yano did do a Colt Cabana type of pose out of the corner. Anyway, enough of ranting and venting and annoyance. Let's go into our main event full of history as Hiroki Goto takes on double champ Tetsuya Naito. And these two basically, as Tetsuya Naito puts it, he got lucky with his last match, but lightning will not strike twice. It was a very competitive bout as Tetsuya Naito, he had the early going with the drop kick to Goto to the floor. Then Naito basically just keeps the pressure on Goto, really hurting his neck, targeting Goto's heavily taped shoulder from his match with Kenta, which I knew had to come into play here. And basically coming back inside, it was a focused offense before Goto finally got a backdrop in play and finally slowed down the match as well as Naito's attack. Following this, we get a bulldog, and then the Fist Warrior tries to pull off some other moves, but Naito again was able to target the shoulder and sink Puma Blanca. But Goto, of course, he does find the rope. So no tap out victory here. And we're only at the 10-minute mark. I love how Tetsuya Naito's matches go the distance, as I expect the main event should. Basically, the two, they fought for control, literally forearming each other, but Goto eventually lands a huge superplex, sending Naito out to the floor to try and regroup. But then it looks like Goto is using the referee's count to recover, as Naito basically, he is just right now slowed down as well. He hits a plancha, and then he fires up inside, misdirecting Naito into a lariat. Hey, his arm still works despite that shoulder, folks, but I'm sure it was hurting him all the way. Goto continues to push the offense, but instead he gets hit with a swing DDT by Tetsuya Naito, followed by a series of stiff elbow strikes, literally trying to weaken Goto. Ouch. But following that, we get a Frankensteiner, and as Naito tries to close in on the victory with an attempted Destino, a short GTR was hit. And that really put the match into Goto's favor. He then tries to channel his warrior spirit with scissors from the ropes, and basically he wanted a GTW. But that got countered with a Destino out of midair. I couldn't believe it. Following that, excuse me. Let's see, what was I at? I'm looking at my notes here. Oh yeah, following that, both men there literally are fighting to get up off each other, on their knees, finally on their feet, trading forearm shivers. That's the word I was looking for when all these times happen. Forearm shivers when these exchanges are called. Goto, of course, fighting through the intense pain in his shoulder, it just was not enough. And Naito, of course, got the better of him during the exchange. And Enziguri followed up, and then Naito went for Valencia, but that was countered into a ridiculous Ushigoroshi at the 20-minute mark. And following this, Naito rings the arm up, goes for Destino, but then that gets countered into a hugely effective Jite Tabayo, and then a mid-kick finding the mark again as he channeled his warrior spirit. But just on instinct alone, Naito, he did hit Valencia, and then a final emphatic Destino for the win, and continues him trolling his own Destino, and maybe deciding it himself come the end of the G1, as he is unblemished with 6 points. Why Hiroki Goto, he will stay at 2. Really good competitive main event, but again, history favors Tetsuya Naito. Not just the fact he's double champ, but the fact that Tetsuya Naito has gotten the better of Hiroki Goto on a number of their singles occasions, G1 and beyond overall. But again, you figure about what both men's pace is. Hiroki Goto is 1/3 of the 6-man ever openweight tag team champions. Tetsuya Naito, this really has been the year of Los Ingobernables de Japón, despite the fact that one of them, went off on their own direction, courtesy of Bullet Club. And right now, it just looks like really Tetsuya Naito is trying to really change the way New Japan Pro Wrestling does title matches, and really is trying to put LIJ at the front. So kudos to him, and good on him. Now we go into, of course, the send-off, as, of course, Naito, he goes, Buenas noches, Colequino! And he said the following to send us off. This is the first Autumn G1, and the first G1 for me as IWGP champion, and the first time for all of you watching all this as fans. Do you feel the heat? Well, right now it's fall over here in the America, so I would say no. The 6th match of the night is over. Next time I'm here in Tokyo will be next month in Ryogoku. I'll be a bit of a wait, but how long will this streak of mine continue? Have fun finding out, and of course, tranquilo. I want to end the usual way, but of course you can't shout along with me. That's a shame, but scream along on the inside. As of course he does the typical, famous Los Ingobernables de Japón roll call and sends us off. Then we go backstage and he basically says this. Goto, I beat you fast and easy than Tanahashi and Zack Sabre Jr. That's you all over. You do your best, and I still beat you in 21 minutes. That was his shortest main event match, folks, as Tetsuya Naito has main evented the B block each night. I really do honestly think you're a great wrestler, but that's why it's such a waste. Again, that subtle type of respect, but also the subtle way of really just hitting it where it hurts. Ouch. So next is Sonata. He lost, right? 3-0 against 0-3. Think about it. If I had a ticket for Nagoya, or was watching on NJPW World, as a smart wrestling fan, you're probably thinking Sonata will win. That classic comeback. Yes, I absolutely believe that, by the way, Knight. So that's why I believe Sonata is finally going to get his first victory. But I have time for that kind of soft thinking. I plan to beat him, and maybe then I can send Sonata to rock bottom, out the running, so he can build himself back up. Sorry, all you ticket holders, I'm giving you the opposite result of the one you want. All right. And then, of course, he says, adios. So, folks, this might be it, because literally next is the determining match, in my opinion, of Sonata's fate. If Sonata does not pull off the dramatic upset that he got in Okada last year's G1, literally with less than 15 seconds to spare, I think it's safe to say Sonata is done in this year's G1 and needs to go off an excursion to refigure out himself. Sonata has to win against Naito for there to be any hope for Sonata's short-run future and Wrestle Kingdom aspirations. 2020 might be the worst year of Sonata's professional wrestling career if he loses to Naito. And to think, if we at the beginning of the year we thought Naito didn't win the double gold, we thought he would go off to excursion. We thought he would be done. And now he's basically leading New Japan Pro Wrestling. So right now it feels like, or honestly, fate is determined by LIJ when it comes to the future. Will Naito fall to Sonata? Will Sonata surpass his leader? We're going to have to wait and see, but I'll tell you right now, that's the number one match I'm looking forward to come the next B-Block day. But that concludes B-Block action, so congrats again to all the winners, and of course, they will be in action again this Thursday, as again, this week we have 3 days of straight G1 Climax action, well, 4 days, technically because of Sunday, G1 Climax action. We still have 2 straight days left, tomorrow, which is Wednesday morning, and the following day, Thursday morning. With that, let's go ahead and look at tomorrow's action, as again, it will be Day 7, A-Block in action, once again from Corrigan Hall, the same time as the show was today. 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2:30 a.m. Pacific Time, and 10:30 a.m. British Standard Time. So let's go ahead and talk about the matches ahead. So the matches ahead go as follows. Starting off in the Young Lions G1 run, we have Yota Tsuji versus Uya Yamera. Both of these men right now, they can just focus on themselves. They don't have to think about Gabriel Kidd, because I'm pretty sure both these guys kind of mutually hate Gabriel Kidd, not just because he represents a different dojo, or maybe that's the main reason. But it's an all-NJPW dojo bout here, as Yota Tsuji takes on Uya Yamera, both men tied at 2. But the overall record in their careers against each other in singles is 9 wins, 6 losses, 21 draws for Yota Tsuji. So, with that being said, are we on the verge of another draw here? Are both these men going to go the full 15-minute time limit? Or will this tie finally be broken? And who do I see winning? With one man again wanting to really challenge just great wrestlers, but one really looking for a death wish. But I also think about the fact that Uya, I feel like, has gone farther than Yoda with the fact he does have one knee pad one time. I don't think he has that anymore. I kind of am torn on this one, but I think right now, based on what just happened, with the fact that Uya did just win against Gabriel Kidd, do I see him pulling off 2 in a row? I'm going to go bold here and say that Uya Yamera gets the win over Yota Tsuji. I'm going to just pick Uya Yamera and see what happens. That's all I have to say about that. Moving on from there, well, this will be interesting. The King, Hasaninare, Minoru Suzuki. He takes on Tokyo Pimp, Yujiro Takahashi. History dictates that this is all going to be Suzuki. Simple as that, as Suzuki has gotten the better of this man in 3 previous G1s. Suzuki right now on the board with 4 points. Yujiro still goose egg. Again, I don't believe that Yujiro Takahashi will go goose egg this entire G1. But when I think about who's to come and who he's facing now, I don't see him beating the king of professional wrestling, Minoru Suzuki. I sense that this is going to be a pretty short bout, but I sense this also will not be just a wash in the pan match where we think Yujiro is just going to get squashed. I feel Yujiro is going to put up a very strong effort in defeat ultimately. I am going with the king, Minoru Suzuki, for the win here. That's all I have to say about that. Moving on from there, it's a first singles meeting, and this should be very interesting, as we have Golden Star Kota Ibushi with 4 points, taking on Jeff Cobb with 2 points. These two have not met each other before in singles action. Now, thinking about what Kota Ibushi said after his incredible match and win against Tomohiro Ishii, and the fact that Jeff Cobb's coming off a loss against Minoru Suzuki, I feel like here, when I look at momentum and who I believe is going to get the win here more, who's going to dig down deeper, I feel like now Kota Ibushi has renewed confidence in himself and that renewed vision to become God with capital G. So I'm going to say that Kota Ibushi wins this match here, but I sense it's going to be a very strong competitive bout. And honestly, I don't see Jeff Cobb pulling off Tour of the Islands on Kota Ibushi. I see Kota counting out of it somehow and hitting him out with a Bumbaye Kamagoye combination for the win. But again, we know that Jeff Cobb is nobody to sleep on. He definitely has the heavyweight power and I'm sure heavyweight championship aspirations. And with his grappling ability, that could be a great counter to Kota Ibushi's striking capability because Kota is not a grappler by any means. He is a striker, period. And I feel like that's going to be what leads him to victory. So Kota Ibushi is my pick here for the win. Now, this is extremely interesting to me, as our next match is not the main event, but definitely can be a pinnacle point for one man. Right, Omega, Kazuchika Okada takes on the Holy Emperor. And my pick to win the A block, Taiji, who is perfect, I might add, with 6 points, while Okada, he only has 2. Now, these two have met each other in 2 other singles bouts. Each man has 1 victory over the other. You think about how this rivalry was really renewed 12 years in the making, and this really picked up at the new beginning earlier this year, where Taiji was in an eyelash of beating the Rainmaker. But again, his so-called money clip since the return of the COVID era New Japan Pro Wrestling has garnered Okada many wins. But before the COVID era, their last singles encounter, Okada beat Taiji with the Rainmaker Lariat finisher. Now, we keep asking and talking about it. Is the fact that he's not using the Rainmaker for his finisher causing Okada? What will cause Okada to bring back that move if that is truly the case? You think about the way Okada looks at opponents, like Yujiro, for example, which right now is his only literal win in the G1. He dropped a big loss to Kota and an even bigger loss to Jay White. That is 2 consecutive losses in a row. Now, I think about Taiji, who has had an incredible run so far, including being the leader of Suzuki-gun, neverweight champion, definitely a bid for a title match, I believe, Minoru Suzuki, and he has also beaten a number of other competitors, including Yujiro, and I believe his other one was, who did he face first? It was Jeff Cobb, wasn't it? I think it was Jeff Cobb. Anyway, I look at it like this. I sense change in New Japan Pro Wrestling, where it's not led by Chaos. It is led by LIJ and Suzuki-gun. And that is the story I'm looking at heading into Wrestle Kingdom next year. And whatever is to come, hybrid Grand Prix-wise, after the G1. So I am going out bold here on a limb and saying that Taiji beats Okada and remains unblemished. Period. Not only do I believe that this will cause Okada to really change his character and finally channel a more aggressive Rainmaker, including bringing that finishing back, but this will further prove why Taiji truly can lead New Japan Pro Wrestling and truly deserves to be top main event guy and challenge for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. He's more than just a never openweight guy. He's more than just a friggin' tag team specialist. He's more than just Dangerous Tekkas. Taiji, I believe, can be a top-tier draw and champion for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I know Okada's not going to easily hand over the victory, but I'm saying Taiji beats the Rainmaker. Finally. Okay. Moving on from there, we go into Will Ospreay, who has 4 points versus the other guy that's the block leader in the Switchblade, Jay White, in his J1, as he has 6 points. The only other time these two men met was last year at New Japan Pro Wrestling's anniversary show, where Will Ospreay was the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, and of course, per tradition, he challenged the Heavyweight Champion in a mutual respective bout. And these two beat the holy hell out of each other in that match last year, that I think went over about 30 minutes. Now, of course, that was a different era where Jay White was leading as champion. But right now, Jay White's saying, you're just breathing in my new era, whatever this one's called. Will Ospreay, who came in like a ball of hellfire with 2 straight wins, dropped his first loss to Shingo Takagi in an incredible match that I'm sure many are going to call a match of the year candidate. With that being said, can these two top their match from last year's anniversary show? And can Jay White continue his unblemished run against the Aerial Assassin? Or will Ospreay find a way to finally beat Jay White and stop his undefeated J1 run? When I think about this match and I think about what could be happening towards the finals of this block and what could be a deciding tiebreaker factor, I sense Jay White's got to be one of the top 3 guys you think about that could win this block. So thinking about that alone, I'm actually going with the Switchblade for the win. And again, I feel that this match is going to go very far. I don't see a draw happening, but I sense Will Ospreay does not have Jay White's number because so far nobody else has. So right now, I say Jay White continues his unblemished J1 run, and I tell you all to breathe with the Switchblade. Simple as that. Which leads us into our main event and the number 1 match I am looking forward to after seeing these two duke it out for the Never Boy Championship earlier this year on New Japan Road. It is Tomohiro Ishii, one of my all-time G1 performers and favorite wrestlers, with 0 points though, versus Rampage Dragon Shingo Takagi, who finally got his first 2, as I said, against Ospreay. Overall, though, their singles record, it is 2-0 in Takagi's favor, as they've had 2 other singles encounters. But G1-wise, it is 1-0 in Takagi. These two, again, have only met each other in 2 other matches. A never openweight title match where Shingo Takagi successfully defended the title against Tomohiro Ishii, who still wanted to kick his ass afterwards. And of course, last year's G1, where they were both in the B block together, and Takagi got the better of the Stone Pit Bull. This has not been the year of the Stone Pit Bull for the G1 points-wise, but as far as match-wise, he's already given me 2 of my key candidates. This could very well be a third one. We know how far these two will push each other. We know how stiff these two will strike each other. We know how brutal these two will go at each other. So the question is, will that new move that he does off the top rope be a difference maker? Or will Tomohiro Ishii finally get his first 2 points? Or go zero in a row for 4 straight matches? You all know me. I am all about strong style wrestling. And Tomohiro Ishii is one of my all-time favorite wrestlers that personifies that, including his mentor, Shinsuke Nakamura. With that being said, I look at who's going to leave here with the all-important win in the main event. I can see people obviously going with Shingo. He sends us off. He talks, yada, yada, yada. But Tomohiro Ishii, he's a man that maybe a few words, but he can definitely bring you enough to what he stands for with what he brings in the ring. And I feel that right there is going to be the will mentality that leads to a victory. So I am going with Stone Pitbull Tomohiro Ishii for his first win in this year's G1. And I can only imagine the brutality that will ensue. Will this match go further and be more aggressive than his match with Kenny Omega, where Kenny Omega's lip was really falling off his face? I don't know, because Kenny Omega and Shingo Takagi are 2 totally different classes of wrestlers. While some has claimed Shingo Takagi as one of the best professional wrestlers of the last year, including our own Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer, it's hard to bet against Shingo Takagi. But right now, I'm going with, because I just don't see Tomohiro Ishii going 4 in a row with 0. I can't recall the last time that even happened to somebody like him, let alone him. I am actually going with Tomohiro Ishii for the win here. And again, they delivered one of the classes from last year's tournament. This right now, main event, by the way, too. Last time it was not the main event. This right here is going to not only surpass that last year's G1 match, but the main event number 1 title match that these two had during New Japan Road. If you can, I highly encourage you to go watch that match. With that being said, that's all I have to say for now. We again are literally 15 hours away from G1Climax30 actually continuing, where we continue to find out and see who will be the one. I can't wait to see what happens in A block, but there are some really great matches today from B block. I encourage you all to watch it. Become a fan if you haven't already. Thank you for tuning in. If you want to know more about me, know this. I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of wrestling. So follow me, Twitter, Instagram, or PlayStation, at nfoster1916. Follow the Silver YouTube channel here at youtube.com/user/nofoster210 for all things wrestling. Shouts to my AEW family on Twitter. Upcoming content this week includes continued coverage of G1Climax30, another episode of the NXT scene, and also predictions for NXT TakeOver 31, another Super Chat live this Friday. And as part of my sub channel, you'll see me recording gameplay on my PlayStation 4, Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. I cannot wait to start playing that game. I look forward to it. I look forward to how many times I'm going to die because, you know me, traditionalist, I will play with lives. Anyway, if you want to know more what I'm about, it's in the description down below. Support NoDQ, WrestleJoy, Pro Wrestling Discussions, Team All Elite. The list goes on and on. Greg Cherry Bland, oh sure, Jeff Meacham Network, and support Pro Wrestling Folks at the end of the day because that's why we're here as fans. As always, I'd like to close. Support your wrestling outlets, big and small. Let's keep growing this incredible, diverse, unique, elite, authentic, unscripted, unrestricted wrestling community together. Simple as that. And there will be an AEW Spark episode later this week too. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Hit the bell, know the next video goes on this channel. Hit the subscribe button, help me keep growing this channel. Shout out to all 163 of you that's been with me on this fun YouTuber career's journey. It's not leaving anytime soon. I hope to bring you more various content in the future. Gaming, wrestling, personal-wise too, where I just connect with you and bring you a fun atmosphere too. And again, I'm within less than a month of my second year anniversary as a YouTuber. So stay tuned for a special anniversary simple stream. And we'll see what happens during that. But until the next video, I hope you all take care and enjoy life. Tomorrow's never guaranteed. Treasure your families. Enjoy wrestling. There's more of it now than ever. Find some promotion, company, character, person that will connect with you. I wouldn't mind interviewing just random wrestlers for 7 minutes too. Maybe I'll try and pursue something like that. Hi, kind of thinking. But again, just please be aware of your surroundings. Please be aware of all those around you. Wear a mask over your face and nose. Protect yourself at all costs. We'll get through this together. This is just a temporary lifestyle we're living. It will end and we'll be better at it afterwards. And I just hope you all, again, just stay safe, enjoy life, and have a wonderful day or night, depending on where you are. Gokigenyo, sayonara.